All right, so today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin, trying to discover where prices are currently and what prices are likely to do in the short term and in the long term as well. I say that because Bitcoin has been in an uptrend for a while now. A lot of people are really losing their mind and starting to get really bullish, and I can understand that because, we've been in an aggressive bear market for a while now. As a matter of fact, since last year, so it's not really surprising to see that people are, looking for some hopium, thinking that this is the bottom. But I don't think so. There are a couple of things to pay attention to. These are the things that I'm going to be discussing in today's video. So if that's something that you're excited about, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, share, and do all that nice stuff. A lot of you know that I've been bearish for a while now, since last year actually, and you know, I haven't really, my bias hasn't really changed even till now. So let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see exactly what my thoughts are. All right, so this is Bitcoin on the 1 week time frame. This is where we're going to start the analysis. And if you just look at this chart very clearly, you can see that we've been in a clear downtrend, right? We've had 3 touch points, 1, 2, 3, right? This is the 3rd touch point. I think this information alone is enough to, close this entire analysis because it is very, very clear. However, this is what we're looking at right now on the 1 week time frame, and I think for you to really understand where Bitcoin is at, you have to also look at where we are in the cycles. For you to really understand whether we are bullish or bearish when it comes to Bitcoin specifically, you need to understand where we are in the cycles. Where are we in the markets? Are we still bearish? Are we in a bearish window or are we in a bullish window? And I think we're still in a bearish window, and I have a couple of things to prove that to you. So let me go to another chart where I can get a full picture. Right, so this is bear market of the last cycle, and basically what we had in this bear market was we had prices go up, right in the middle of the bear market. We had this kind of move from here to here, was about 44% move right in the middle of the bear market. You can see how crazy that is. And even from here to here as well, we had a significant move like this was a 20% move in the bear market, and even this one too over here, from here all the way to this top here, was another 40% move. So we had 40% move, 20% move, another 40% move, and this was also kind of like a move until we finally had the capitulation, which then led to the best buying opportunity, the last best buying opportunity. So if we look at what we have here, we kind of have a similar structure playing out. Right now we've had the first relief rally. Let me hide all these things. Yes, right now we've had the first relief rally. We had this was a 21% move, and right now we just had what now, a 31% move. So I just showed you a 40% move that happened twice in the last bear market, and also a 20% move. And right now we've had a 20% move, we've had a 30% move in the middle of a bear market. And so I don't think it's enough reason to get bullish, especially because we are still in a bearish window. Another thing that I like to pay attention to is the oscillators. Today I'm going to be focusing on just the MACD. The MACD is one of my favorites as well. If you look at these charts, you see that there was a pivot point right here. I've already marked that here. Look at this. This was a reversal point on the weekly time frame. This is the last cycle, by the way, in 2021. This was the reversal point here. You can see the blue moving average crossed above the orange one, which is usually a bullish indicator. And similar thing is what we have happening right now, right? But usually this is supposed to be bullish and it's supposed to lead in a massive buying opportunity. But because of where we are in the market, for instance, if I show you something like this now, if you look at this one, you see that this happened to be very bullish, as opposed to what is happening here. So let me show you. Right, look at this one here, right? We've had this move, the market was going up, and then even when we had the bullish cross, right, it still did not lead to a higher high. Look at what happened. It topped out here and led to capitulation, literally. and it led to a capitulation. Literally, looking at this one here where we had this move here, you can see that it actually led to a higher high, right? Because we were in a bullish environment, and there are several examples like this on the charts, right? But basically what I'm just trying to make you understand is which window are we in right now. I think we're in a bearish window. Look at this. We had just now, we're just having a cross here, and very similar to what we had here, just like I said. But look at where we are starting to print really massive red candlesticks, or bearish candlesticks, because this is not red, bearish candlesticks, and today is just Tuesday in the week. This is on the weekly time frame, by the way. Today is just Tuesday, so we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have 3 more days to go, which is to say this entire green candlestick that we had last week will not get swept out. Keep in mind that there is an FOMC meeting coming up, so this could be a trigger for downside price action. Let's go to the smaller time frame, because we have or before we get into that, I think one of the things I also like to point out is price targets. If this happens, we are looking at prices dropping to this point here, which is around 51k. That's like the really next level for Bitcoin to drop to. And I think there will be this may be the capitulation. Maybe this would be where prices will start reversing. This was BlackRock's purchase. I always like to mark this place out. This was BlackRock's purchase, or their big announcements, and see what happens to prices. So basically, if prices should drop to this level, maybe prices should do something like this. Drops here, and then before doing something like this. This is kind of what I'm thinking will happen to prices. But I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, actually. But let me check out the smaller time frame. Let's go to the 1-day time frame. So on the 1-day time frame, I think it is quite a little bit clearer, especially when you're looking at this kind of pattern. This is more or less like a channel, like an ascending channel, which in some cases can be bearish. I know it can look bullish because it means higher high and higher lows. However, it is kind of like a trap, so to speak. It's like a consolidation period in the middle of a hot downtrend. It's somewhat similar to a bear flag, kind of situation. So this is what we are looking at. It's a continuation pattern. This is what we are looking at. We're looking at prices doing something like this. We've been in a hot downtrend. Prices consolidate a bit, right, and then continues the downtrend, and then consolidates a bit, and then continues the downtrend. This is what makes up a downtrend. Usually the hot moves happen very fast, and then the market spends a lot of time just consolidating and trading sideways, eating people up and building liquidity. That's why you have to be patient when you're playing this game. However, I think this is what we're looking at. We already had a previous candlestick here. We even had a double top formation. I guess this would be obvious to see on the 4-hour time frame, but you can see here we had an engulfing, a bearish engulfing bearish candlestick on yesterday's close, as you can see very clearly. So this is likely going to lead to a continuation, and once this is swept out, once this level is swept out, it then confirms the move, and we are likely going to keep seeing more liquidities continue to sweep, in my opinion anyway. And if you look at something else here, look at this MACD on the daily. This is insane. I think looking at this is also another sure banker, because you can see very clearly that there's no way this is not going to turn bearish. There's nothing that is going to stop this from turning bearish. And if you look at all the periods where this has happened, look at this, it's usually very aggressive. Let me just prove that to you real quick. Look at this line here. Look at this. Okay, let's use these 3 examples, or 2 examples actually. Look at this first one here. Look at what it led to, a massive drop to the downside. You can see, look at this one here as well, it led to a massive drop to the downside. And these are the things that we're talking about. It's very likely that we are, in my opinion anyway, that this could lead to some more downside price action. Let's also check out the 4-hour time frame. Now on the 4-hour time frame is where you get to see the double top that I was referring to. actually. So look at this very clearly. You can see that we had a top here, we had another top here. While this can actually be a trap, a liquidity trap, a double top, basically making sellers come into the market, and because most people's stop loss are going to be here, just like you have this, so if prices can trap people's stop loss here, it leads up to an opportunity to sweep liquidity basically. And the market is always moving towards where liquidity is. So this is one thing, that's why your stop loss is necessary. However, I think even if it's going to happen, right, even if it's going to happen, it's going to change the entire game, if I'm being honest, because once this level gets broken out, this is what we are looking at. We are likely going to see prices come as high as probably here 87 to 88k probably. This will be the next level to watch out for, this whole level here. So and if that happens, I could say that we are in for a little bit of an uptrend for a period of time, for a short period of time. But if it doesn't get taken out, then this is the liquidity to be targeted, and this is a much more bigger liquidity in my opinion, because of all of these buyers that are here. People were confident buying, higher highs type of thing. So that's what we're looking at. And if you look here, you can see that we've had this ascending channel here as well, and quite similar to what we had here, although it's not perfect, but it's quite similar in direction. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And then you can see very clearly that we had a breach at this point here. Initially we were getting moves like this. We're getting moves like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was supposed to be the sixth one, but it didn't happen. It actually failed, right? So for the fact that it failed, it's an indication that buyers have lost or are losing their momentum, and sellers are probably about to step back in and take all of these late buyers out of the market. So this is what I'm seeing about the market right now. Although my entry, my major entry, I've actually had lots of short positions, to be honest. My first entry was over here where everybody was losing their mind, and this was like my fastest profits making, to be honest, this particular move, because it happened so fast and nobody was expecting it in one day basically. But however, I've made I've had so many good trades over this period, although likewise I've also had really terrible trades as well, but majority of my wins have come from short positions. And my most recent entry, or my longest entry, has been the one that I opened around here, which is around 97k, and I opened that trade, and basically we've just been bearish ever since. And then I've just added to the position here at this point, although I added here, but I'm also adding here as well, right? So anticipating that all of this is going to get swept out and I'm going to make a lot of money. By the way, if you want to get into my private group, you should send me a DM. You're going to find my Telegram link in the description below of this video. Send me a DM, and I'll tell you how to get access. The only way to really get access into my private group is when you've taken a program of mine. The idea behind doing that is that we don't want people to just come into the group and not understand the way that I trade. Okay, so when you take my program, you then get free access to the private group for a period of time, depending on what you purchased. And after that, you get to pay your monthly dues, which is just like $2 or $3, something like that. But if you send me a DM, I'm going to give you a proper breakdown. So basically, yeah, this is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Let's check Bitcoin dominance real quick, just to right. So this is Bitcoin dominance on the weekly time frame as well, and this analysis has been the same. I haven't even really touched it. You can see I have been anticipating that this is going to happen here, and that is basically what we are looking at so far. As you can see, prices are starting to go up little by little. I think Bitcoin dominance is going to keep increasing, and the more it increases, the more the market bleeds, because people are selling their altcoins and trying to move into Bitcoin, while other people are also selling their Bitcoins as well. So yeah, Bitcoin dominance going up is not good for the markets. Right, so that is all we have for today. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and share with people that you think would love it as well. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.